Yes, sir, and we're back to another episode of Kicking It with the Brothers. It's your boy ML with your co-host, Mr. Charles Little. We're missing our boy Deion. He is in Palm Springs currently right now. Not sure exactly what he's doing. He's been praising himself because Mr. Kirk Creesa is going to West Virginia, and he thinks that Bobby Huggins is going to revive his career. But we'll see. His thinking says protect Kerr at all costs. But Deion is not here to hear what I'm going to be talking about today, what Charles is going to be talking about today. He's been wondering about the Classicos. He's been on ever since he's become a Barca fan. Things have been going his way. The script is now flipped. At the Camp Nou in the semifinals of the Copa Del Rey second leg, Real Madrid 4, Barcelona 0 for an aggregate of 4-1. Barcelona is now eliminated from the Copa del Rey. The domestic treble is now off completely, despite them being 12 points up in La Liga, but at least one less trophy that'll go into the Camp Nou this year. And the club, I'm actually going to call it a treble because I'm not going to hate on the Club World Cup because we easily could have got worked by Flamingo if we weren't together. And Carlos seeing some of the boys he may be coaching, but the Cup treble is on. We are champions of the Club World Cup. We are in the finals of the Copa del Rey, and in the quarterfinals against Chelsea next week, Real Madrid. Wonderful. Charles, the match today, clearly you guys are a little bit shorthanded. I'll let you go first, brother.
I mean, we got hands and feet put on us.
Yes,
We take it on the, we take it. I take we take these ones on the chin, man. This is like all I could. I had some when my homeboys was here watching the first half was it's the eternal rivalry, man. This is what makes this was what makes it a big deal. Like we can smack you guys 4-0 in the Bernabeu last year, and then you guys can turn around the next year and do it to us. So I mean, this is what makes it great. The ebbs and the flows. It is what it is. Like I can't like that's why I don't really trip on it because it's like I at a certain point like I know we can't like we're not gonna beat you guys 5 and 6, 7 times in a row. It's just not gonna happen. Like you're too good of a squad. Definitely thought like and at the same time like tactically we're running out the same exact tactics. Everybody knows where everybody's gonna be,
Yes.
and so like it's not like I don't as much as like I think Big Ron. I think even he's won you over like Big Ron's the man, but like at a
Yeah, he's
certain point,
phenomenal.
like good offense beats good defense, and like he's not going to like him asking him to contain Vinny for hundreds and hundreds of minutes of football is a big ask of anybody. So like I knew eventually Benzema is Benzema, he's going to get loose, and so it just happened today. I definitely think we lack continuity in the midfield. You definitely saw. We could get by in a couple earlier games against you guys. We could get by with no Pedri because we still had Frankie, but not having Pedri and no Frankie in there, like I was saying earlier, is like taking both straws out the drink. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's just there was nobody in the midfield to kind of like break those things down. Like I love Kessie's good and Sergio Roberto is a good utility player, but like I said, once you take Frankie out, there's a lot of balls and this is the first time that we were actually slower in midfield. Or at least like as you actually guys had us in midfield with Valverde with his legs, and usually in these games it's Frankie's legs and Pedri's legs that are stretching the field and really giving you
Yes.
guys trouble in the midfield, and weren't able to do that because we got older guys out there in the field. So not Kessie and Frankie are the same age, but Sergio Roberto and Biscuits back there. So I mean it happens. It's why another reason why I love the game is we go from so close to scoring that first goal ourselves to giving up a goal. My man, I'm going to keep pointing this out every time. Jules Koundé is the best player I've ever seen at goal line clearances. Like he has a real knack for getting to a ball on the line that I've like never seen a defensive player have. I've been pointing that
Really
out to you for
good.
months. Like I've been pointing that out to you for months. Like I don't know how he does that, but he's like a real like a point of emphasis for him. But yeah, like I said, I just think injuries got the best of us, and then once you start having like Christensen's not out there, Frankie's not out there, you're losing your spine, and then I think that's when it matters that your best center back is playing right back because he's not there to help clean up things in the back. He's stretched out wide, when if all of his conditions are well, he can manage out there. But if all but if those injuries add up in the middle of the park, like it's actually better to have him out there. He had the best chance to score, I think, of the entire game for us. It was our best highlight by far. He is now. Am I allowed now to air out our striker?
It's time. It's time.
They call him? Or to be a striker, you have to strike. So Robert Lewandowski, we have called him a Wiener Schnitzel merchant, an Oktoberfest merchant. I just can we trade? Can the country of Spain trade him to Germany for Dani Olmo? Can we just get Dani Olmo back? It's pathetic. So I ran some quick numbers on an envelope, because this is how serious this shit was today. In the game,
by the way, can we real talk? I love numbers on envelope. I write notes. I get this from my mom. I don't know what it is.
Yes,
it's got it from your mom, right?
Yeah, of course.
100%. That's some mama shit.
Yeah.
So I literally write on envelopes. I straight will have a whole effing diary page. Just like, here are my notes. Like somebody's wondering, like, oh, it's on that AES bill, AES, NDB, and our electric bill. Go ahead. Carry on.
So in the games that have mattered for Barcelona this year, I'm not going to sit here and discredit teams, but in the games that have mattered,
okay,
that is the five games against Madrid this year, the 2 games against United, the 2 games against Bayern, and the 2 games against Milan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lofton, how many goals do you think Robert Lewandowski has in those 11 games?
I'm trying to remember. I remember seeing 2 against Milan, I think. Maybe 1. He didn't score against Bayern. I don't think he scored against Bayern. He may have won. It's 2 or 3.
4.
Wow. Okay. I missed. Okay.
4 in 3 games. He scored twice against Milan.
That he did. Okay. I thought I was right.
1 game. He scored once against United, and he scored in the Spanish Super Cup.
I don't remember the United match, him scoring.
He scored the penalty, remember?
Yep. To take the 1-0 lead.
Yep. He scored the penalty. Those are the only 4 in the 11 games. He missed the other game I would have counted was the Atletico game, but he didn't. I think that's when he was injured. So in the 11 games that mattered, that have defined the season, my man has only scored in 3 of them.
Yeah, that's not good.
Mr. World-class striker, Mr. What Gerd Muller's record ain't nothing to me. Like that guy, Bayern Hall of Fame joke. I wish Deion was here to help me slander him. I'd throw this out the backboard to him right now.
Oh yeah,
joke.
Yeah, he said he still thinks his left foot is weak, but it's like nothing strong with him right now, and it's it's tough because they have singled him out in the papers in Barcelona before, but I just don't see how it's going to happen this time. But because everybody's going to get blasted, I think, for the performance. But it really comes down to, it's not like they didn't have chances that were created.
Drifting back post every time is not a move.
Yeah.
That shit is not like, that's not movement, bro. Like every cross, he just drifts and he's just in a jumping like he think he Cristiano. He think he can just out jump. Like, dude, these are black dudes you're jumping against, bro. This is different. Come on, man. He's ain't gonna out jump Militao, bro.
Man, you ain't lying.
Like, come on, man. Like, I'm very disappointed, but like I said, I think it'll humble us. The season's winding down. I guess it was like the last real meaningful game of the year. So I'm kind of sucks we lost because I did want to go to the game next month. I still might go, but I feel like the 11 we put out there was great. I really am starting to hate I'm not really a big fan of the Gavi hate my boy is getting. I'm never gonna like be mad at somebody for playing hard.
Right.
And he's the littlest person out there, so he gotta have the most fight. Like I completely understand why he do what he do sometimes. But they just, and not to mention too, he's 18. Y'all be letting that little boy fresh. Like it's the way that they let him like fluster them, like grown ass men let him, like man, he a little ass boy. Like y'all flee him, like shoo him on somewhere and go about your day. But love that kid. Never can question his effort. But yeah, it was a tough day at the office. We'll just call it that.
Yeah,
Your boys played well too, and your boys played well. Like the thing
yeah.
about you guys, if I will get like the thing I always respect about you guys is if you give you guys chances, like all Benzema needs is one like one. He ain't like he's not he's this is what the difference between Luis Suarez and Benzema and those guys are from the Lewandowskis of the world. They need one chance, and if you give like these are the bet like they're not missing, they're one. Like these not that shots. There was no chance of that shot going wide. That's just it's not. It wasn't. It was like, you know what I'm saying. Like so it's a way that it's just yeah. But Lewandowski's doing that, and then he's gonna do like the pray hands or something to like everybody after he misses it. Like it's just levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I thought we had a goal, and I was like, oh my God, maybe this will be Vinny's way of just breaking through the like Big Ron curse because he just puts him, he puts him in a spliff. He's all packed up usually. That's what the matches have been the last three against for Vinny and Valverde. Yeah, it was Valverde. Rodrigo. No, it was a cross. And it was I think at like the 12-minute mark. And Vinny got in front of Big Ron, and I'm like, oh my God, all he has to do is just slot this in. And he completely missed them. Like, these are the chances like you can't miss against them because they're gonna come back and get one. Oh, but our pace was really good today. Once again, it helps that you're starting midfield and FDJ, is top 5 midfielder in the world easily. And a true, he's just as dangerous, defending and tracking back just from his pure pace. And then not having Pedri, who's arguably your best playmaker. I mean, let's just call it what it is, especially
When it
right
comes
now.
to playing out of the back though, and the way that we were turning the ball over in some of those situations,
Yeah.
it's just hard for me to be like Frankie wouldn't have been there. Like it's just on that breakaway for that first goal, he's somewhere in the mix there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, a couple of those turnovers that we had for Benzema's goal. Stuff like that is just things that he usually is buttoning up for us. But hats to you guys, man. You
Yeah.
went there, said
Two hat
what you were
trick.
gonna do, said what
Two
you
hat.
were gonna do, and put the
Mm-hmm.
hands to us.
Yeah, it had to get it in camp now too. That was
Yeah.
I like where this team's at. Unfortunately, they just caught a bad patch, and honestly, I think people are starting to get their legs finally, and actually true on Ben's. We're past the World Cup. We got past the international break. There's no more international break until June. So you were with your club from here on out for the next 7 to 8 weeks, just grinding, doing your thing. I like that I think that's better for Madrid more than anything. Hopefully everybody's just kind of healthy from the World Cup. And honestly, Carlo was about 2 weeks away from just playing young kids in La Liga. It's because you'll have the numbers and you just rest dudes for Champions League because you will need to be rested. They're going to beat Chelsea, and we'll segue. Actually, it's just a perfect time for us to segue. Speaking of Chelsea, home, they're the Stamford Bridge boys. You know what? Shout out to them. Our boy N'Golo Kante is back. That's great. Didn't help them yesterday. They drew against Liverpool 0-0. Chelsea right now on the table. Make sure I am saying this correctly. Chelsea is now a bottom half side in the EPL. They are sitting at 39 points. Yes, they would be in the top half side, tied with Fulham, who is in 10th. But you know what? Chelsea has a -1 goal differential on the year, 650 million, by the way, spent. And they've had turmoil. And I think since we have last spoke, Chelsea is I mean, I gotta say this the right way. I can't. You know what? Folks are gonna have to get used to, you know what? For American folks, Graham Potter has been fired. Okay. In all press conferences when you talk to managers, etc. Obviously in Europe, and actually quote unquote from Jurgen Klopp this past week. Interesting enough, he says, "I'm not afraid of the sack." Super pause, but that's what it is. That's how they refer to it over there. But Graham Potter's been relieved of his duties at Chelsea. third manager they're on this past in 1 year. It's incredible what's going on. And the rumors are today is that Frank Lampard will be coming back to just see out the rest of the year for Chelsea Football Club. Talking about a dude who is failed up more than anything, been fired from the club where you're a legend from, go back, not do well at another club, and then they're like, yeah, we just kind of need somebody to be a caretaker. Chelsea is a mess. I do not see them getting into Europe. Liverpool, not sure if they're going to get into Europe. My boy Unai Emery is taking Aston Villa up 8 spots. But Charles, how do you fix Chelsea? We don't want to see one of the top 10 biggest clubs in the world look like this. This isn't good for the EPL. It's a tarnish on the name when somebody like this.
How do you fix Chelsea? You get actual good players.
Yeah, that would help.
Actual good players. I was asking this for 3 months. Are any of the guys they bought good?
Are any of the signings any good?
Everybody they bought could be good.
Yeah.
Of all the signings they've had, the only one I've seen be good is Cucurella. Like, actually be good.
I like him. Yeah, I think he's being wasted there.
He's nice. But I'm saying he's the only one that when they got him from Brighton, he's been consistently, since they put him in, has done his job. And every time he's out, like, for the most part, every time he's out there, has performed. Like, he's lived up to his price tag, even though it was like 55s, I think, that they for him.
Heard it.
But they got a team full of potential. Fofana potential, Mudryk potential. Like, what are we doing with these people? Like, they have no. It's like Chelsea past, present, and future. Like they have like 3 generations of people in the door. Like, why is like they just need to start selling players first and foremost. I think this year, I mean, they're not going to get relegated, but they're not gonna. I don't think they're going to make it.
They're closer to relegation than the top of the table, by the way.
No, I think they're going to be where they're going to be at, because I don't. Not to mention, I don't think Frank's going to make them. What do we think Frank's going to make them better? Because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you're going to put, like, you might as well left Potter as the manager. If you're going to put Potter's a better manager than Frank. Like, they're taking another step back in manager for the last, what is this? How many games are left? 10 or less than 10?
Right.
Like 8.
Exactly.
Still, like, I can't. But they need to, like I said, they need to sell a bunch of players. Actually get like a cohesive plan of what the hell they're doing, because they're just like you got Enzo out there with just guys, and like you need to build everything around Enzo. The entire team needs to be built around him, but like Mason Mount needs to go, Pulisic needs to go. If you're not going to use Raheem, like, go get some money for him. There's just a bunch of guys, like all 17 of their defenders. I don't know why Thiago Silva's still getting paid. Yeah, they just need an overhaul and an idea, and stick with it. Like, sometimes I don't like when, a lot of times in these, like, you start these projects and then you can't dedicate yourself to starting the project and then fire the manager halfway through. It does more harm than good on a certain sense. So it's like, you got these guys, you got them. It's just, all of this is just a compound issue of firing Tuchel. Like, that's all this is like a compound of that. And I had forgotten until the other day. I was like, oh shit, Chelsea were like the champs.
Yeah.
Like, I completely forgot that. So, yeah, I mean, they're there. It's in them. I just think they don't, like, I just don't know. Like, they need like dynamic players. They have a bunch of like 6s. They have like a bunch of 6s. Enzo's like a 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying? He's of that ilk. Conte, when he's healthy, is up there. But like, how many like true like world class players do they have? 4?
Man. Yeah, bro. So I mess with Kovacic. He's because obviously he's a fellow Madridista. Fam, he was captaining Chelsea the other day. Kovacic, Mateo Kovacic. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. That dude was captaining Chelsea. Oof.
Croatian great.
Yes, respect. Exactly. But wow.
They won't put Ogba in the squad. Like, it's just nasty over there, dude.
No, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And honestly, I'm not gonna disrespect Mo Salah, even though there's a chance that he may be gone if they don't make Champions League. But Liverpool's not far behind. They're not. I thought they would make the top 4 charts, or maybe they still can. I don't know. Maybe
The
it
difference
starts if
between
they beat Arsenal this
for
week.
me, the difference between Liverpool and Chelsea is like you can look plain as day and see what the problem is with Liverpool.
Yes,
They're still trying to play. They have the
Yeah.
idea. They're
Yeah.
trying to play the idea. They don't have the players to play the idea anymore.
Yeah, they're midfield.
That's as simple as that. Like I don't think for a second if Liverpool get the right players in, they're gonna like fall off. I think you know what I'm saying. I think if everybody's healthy next year and they get Jude, they're right back to it. Like I don't think they have like a cultural problem or like an identity issue. I think Chelsea has like a whole identity problem. Like they have so many players.
Mm-hmm.
What is your style? What do they have? What are they, 34 guys in training or something right now?
Yeah, that's just. I mean, what can you do with that?
But then too much. Like at a certain point, like you can play any formation.
Right.
That's not how this works.
Charles, we're getting closer. I think it's time for you to acknowledge. We're 9 games out. 7, excuse me, for Arsenal. 8 for Man City. Excuse me, 10 for Man City, 9 for Arsenal. 9 games left, 9 matches left. 8 points. I'd rather have the points than the game in hand. Game in hand don't mean nothing. Newcastle, so your top 4 in the EPL, it looks like this. Arsenal is at 72 points with 9 to play. Man City is at 64 points they have 10 matches left. So their highest total still could get to 94, which is not, by the way, out of the realm that they just were like, yeah, let's just win 10 straight. Like it's doable for them. It's just what they do. Newcastle is at 53 points and United is at 53. Let me just tell you, let me give you a stat. How big do you think the goal difference is between Newcastle and Man United? And just hint, obviously Newcastle's in 3rd and Man United's in 4th.
Newcastle, I think of as a low scoring team. So I would say the goal difference is like 15, maybe
21. Newcastle is a 26 plus 26 goal differential. We give you something about United. There are 7 teams in the EPL with a better goal differential than Man United. Yes, Liverpool did beat them 7-0. So let's just split the difference. It was just a normal day, but Liverpool was still on 1. So let's call it 4. So like usually they would be at 8. There's still 7 teams above them goal differential. Deion's actually right. They may not make top 4. I thought Ten Hag may have had this in the bag. They're struggling. Tottenham United has a game in hand with Tottenham, but Tottenham's only three points back. Brighton they actually have a game in hand on United, but they are down 7 points. This thing's not over for them. Not over at all. United could end up back in Europa very easily. Very easily.
I would love nothing more.
Oh, and Rashford's looking shoddy right now. Like the last 2 weeks have not been kind to him. United's
He's all they've had. Bruno
yeah.
ain't y'all see this is like y'all be hitting, I be hating it. Y'all be listening to what I be saying. I'm never paying attention to the dudes who are doing the things. I'm always paying attention to the other people. I've been saying for months, Bruno be doing nothing. Bruno ain't been doing nothing. There's a bunch of dudes doing nothing. Jadon Sancho, nothing. Weghorst, they finally on his ass though. So I see how they all help. So they at least identify he ain't been doing nothing. But
like, can I chime in on him real quick? Can I chime in on your man's? Is it because of the locker room, but are they doing that much worse if they had kept Ronaldo?
No, I don't think so.
This is what I'm saying. This is managers in this sport have the biggest egos. The biggest egos. I'm not saying Ronaldo was trying to bounce because of what was going on. The culture is not great at United. Ten Hag is like try to change it, give him his love. Yeah, like people say, when he win the teacup trophy, that's what they call him. They care about. They call it the teacup, the 10-cup trophy. Regardless, but don't tell me when you just have one brother out here putting the goals in the back of the net that you couldn't find a way to keep CR7. Please never tell me that Weghorst is better than CR7 or if he's better for culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's all I had to get off my chest real quick. Because you can see
and
Cristiano
yeah,
still, like I said, classes
and
forever.
I respect him as a player, but Casemiro shouldn't rise the tide that much.
That's wild to me. Have you seen this?
Like,
You seen this? He didn't play, and they look terrible.
he shouldn't rise the tide like that now. Like he's good, but he's not he's not that. Like that's more of an indication of where y'all were.
Imagine if Flo didn't sell him. United's a mid-table club.
Yes.
United's a mid-table club if Flo doesn't sell him. And that's only because he's like, you giving me everything you could. Like Casemiro, his trophy, I mean, his bag is a dozen, bro, if not more. And then we're talking major trophies, not some of the rinky dinks. Like, bro,
Yeah.
a dozen major trophies that are on his name. And where was one of the always one of the top 3 people that you put on the team sheet when it comes to meaningful games. And yeah, he's at United doing his thing, but they're terrible without him. Everton this weekend. Man, listen, I would love it. I would love it. Love it if they don't make the top 4. I would love
They're
it.
not going to, but that's not because like I'm not betting on Everton ever contributing to that thing. Dorian Gray out here on he like a FIFA player. Like when you first start when like you just got all the like, you just clean, but you like a 65. Like that's when he is. Like he got the waves, he got the cool, he got number 11, he got the swag.
Yeah.
Terrible.
They got a big 6-point swing coming up against your boys in a couple weeks here. Oh, man, is another thing. Aston Villa. Their issue is this. In their top half of matches, yeah, Everton, early match, they're at the Old Trafford. They should get it done. But then they have Sevilla on Thursday. Nottingham Forest it's at Nottingham Forest in a week from Sunday. That'll be a problem just because, once again, these are teams that are in relegation battles. They just leave it all on the field, especially at the crib. Brighton, who's trying to challenge for Europe, they're really going toe-to-toe with Man United. In a 4-day or in a 7-day span, they go Sevilla, Brighton, Tottenham, all on the road before they got to go and play Aston Villa on a Sunday. And honestly, if you ask me right now, Unai's figured out the EPL. He just needs the right players. United may be in 6. United may be in 6 by the time we get to May.
I'll fly back for that one. Boo them in person.
There you go. Anyways, that's interesting times. Let's go over to the Bundesliga. Your boys. Bayern's back. 4-2 over their fierce rivals, Borussia Dortmund.
in a pod that started with us laced in our Madrid and Barca gear, it's a joke to call that a rivalry. That's not a rivalry, dude.
It's not. It's Golden State Memphis for people like from America, maybe.
There's no job. No, if only the Warriors signed Ja Morant. and
That's very true.
And any other player they wanted anytime they want. Even their coach if they felt like it.
Very true. Borussia Dortmund right now is 25 goals behind in the goal difference and 2 points behind with 26 games played. They look to be very safe for getting to Europe. Leipzig is not doing well right now. Frankfurt's not doing their thing. FC Union Berlin. It's over. Bayern Munich's probably won the league now, right? It's over.
I mean, they did just turn around and lose yesterday, so we can't. Like they're still pretty inconsistent.
And their cup tie, yeah,
they lost their cup tie the other day. They're still pretty inconsistent.
I
mean, it's not like Jude is moved home. And Gio never came to Germany to begin with, so like I don't think what is this, 11 straight? Is it going to be 11 straight titles?
Yeah. There's not really a challenge, is there?
No, it's not. It's even if they lose the league, like it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, Probably putting a wrap on that. There's
And all they got to do is if they lose the City, like they'll focus the last 6 games and win the league anyway.
there you go. So some Serie A news for you, just because Charles, thank you always for keeping us honest to make sure that we talk about all the leagues, and this is a good time to do so as we're in between the quarterfinals and the European competitions. Serie A giants Juventus are optimistic about their chances of overturning a 15-point deduction in Serie A thanks to a procedural defect. A procedural defect. Lawyers are something fucking else. Early this year, Juventus was handed a punishment following an investigation into their finances, which left the team way down the table, according to the Gazzetta dello Sport. An appeal will allow Juventus to look at a secret document that could lead to a reason to overturn the 50 points deduction. What the fuck is a secret document? The report claims that the defense lawyers for Turin-based club could argue around judges backdating the opening of the investigation, meaning some documents would be out of date, unusable. The issue relates to a request to the FIGC prosecutor on April 14th, 2021, in which Italy's Supervisory Committee on Professional Football Clubs asked the FIGC about the potential of inflated transfer prices. Juve's lawyers would then claim that the proceedings then began on April 21st, giving prosecutors 60 days for their research to be done. So they're not saying they ain't guilty. They're saying that there's a procedural thing and they should have had the stuff wrapped up in 60 days from what is now literally 2 years ago. I love it. I love it. The Italian government, the Italian football committee may have dropped the ball. The Juventus is like, yeah, we cheated, but y'all messed up on your evidence. That's crazy. Charles.
And still in second. This is why I love soccer, though. This shit is espionage, man. This shit is the world within a world within a world within a world of, like I said, fake money, real money, bribes, conspiracies, fucking people biting people, throwing octopuses on the field, throwing pigs' heads on the field. It's never a dull moment in the sport.
At all. Thought that was interesting times, but we'll digress. I had a quick question for you, just because we'll bring it back to the Nations League play. They said your manager should already be on the chopping block already.
He should.
Charles already. There's been 2 matches. That's it.
You got to go. It's not even that. It's not even his fault.
Okay.
If you're Spain, you're in the country of Spain. The 2 best teams, I wish I could point, or that logo and this logo, they play a very specific style of football. I looked at the teams from both Spanish games. Gavi and Balde were the only 2 Barcelona players that played. And I think maybe Carvajal might have played for you guys.
Yes, he did. We had a few. We had a couple.
But I'm just saying, if you can't be the Spanish coach and not like if you're not. But like Laporte, all these people play. Rodri, all play a certain type of style of football. If you're not going to play that, then you can't. Like I'm not. You just got to. Like I think even for now, like you have to have some elements of that and switch it up. It's not like they played bad against Norway, but I mean you shouldn't be losing to Scotland. And
no,
I just think he might be in a little bit in over his head. And the last thing you want to do is find that out like in the Euros. Like it's not that I think he's on the chopping block. I don't think he's going to make it to like the qualifiers, through the qualifiers.
Right.
I think they lose any game in the next break. Yeah. And if Lucio doesn't get that job, I think they'll bring him back.
Wonder if he's asked until to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But,
and maybe Chelsea is fine with waiting for that.
At the end of the
day, there's conversations with him. Who would you? I know you would prefer Lucho, but is Nagelsmann the second choice for sure
for the Spanish national team?
No, for Tottenham.
For Tottenham,
I think Lucho's asked Tottenham to hold out.
Or I don't mind. I think Nagelsmann's a good coach. I don't mind him being either. Like, but I also think like. This goes back to my Chelsea point. Like, I think if you're gonna do the long term thing, dude, you can't say we're here for the long term. understand that your squad kind of sucks, and then be mad that you're losing games. Like at a certain point, you got to tell like the supporters, like, I get it, but like chill. Like we have to do. There's a process. There's like, you can't say there's a long term project and then not and never actually like build on the long term project.
Right.
Like so, it's like if I'm Nagelsmann, I'm telling him straight up because like at the end of the day, if Harry, let's just for the 7th straight summer, like Hove songs, like Hove albums.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Harry actually leaves. Tottenham's gonna be awful next year.
Mm.
But that's a building year, and maybe in 2 years they'll have something. But like you can't like go through next year like that and then fire not like it's just the shit was stupid. It's like firing Potter. It's like you didn't even give him a chance to like do what he does. You think he's supposed to be able to like in a World Cup season, literally the World Cup's in the middle of the season. You thought he was supposed to like build continuity, and then you bought 17,000 players. But like it's just, I think it was asking a bit much, but. I mean, I would prefer Lucho there, but I feel like at the same time, I would prefer Nagelsmann just because I feel like Levy's and Tottenham ain't gonna spend no money, and I'd rather they piss off the German guy than piss him off boy.
Mm.
I think Lucho can make. I also think Lucho's a better coach, and he can make Chelsea better than Nagelsmann could. I think Lucho could find the best 11 players out of the 33 and get them to play a certain way.
Okay. Like that. That's good summary right there. Let's make sure that just because there's been some changes, I just want to make sure that you are still holding true in terms of some of the predictions for next week. I want to make sure just because we will not be on the pod until after the Champions League matches a week from yesterday. So
okay, what had I said?
Well, what'd you say?
So what did I say?
Yeah, but so I
forgot.
still have you down as City finding a way to beat Bayern now that
Yep.
Taskmaster
Even more confident. Even more confident.
I couldn't agree more. I wish Deion was here because I want to see if he would change. Because I
Even
think
more confident.
actually them changing managers and Tuchel probably trying to figure out a way to like do some mad scientist shit in order to, and especially at the Etihad, if they have the first crack at it, yeah, I like City even more so. So you staying with City?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm even more confident in that. And I was like, even the other day when they beat Dortmund, and then like they played that great. Like Dortmund, some of the goals they scored were just like awful fucking defending.
Yeah.
Like I gotta, so when like they were like they picked Dortmund apart either.
Yeah, agreed. And then we're both going to stick. I'm sticking with Benfica over Inter. I'm not impressed with Inter at all. And obviously, Napoli's going to handle their business. Madrid is going to do their thing. I'm even more so. There was a tad bit nervousness just because of. I will say I just have a slight nervousness just because N'Golo Kante is back. I feel like that midfield is going to be fine. Enzo, just because if Chelsea has anything, having Enzo and N'Golo Kante is a problem for our midfield if they're both going to be healthy. But I don't trust Chelsea.
Did that 4-0 beating that Napoli took the other day give you any cause?
No.
Okay.
I think that they are a team trying to make sure they have found themselves, and that they don't. In terms of they've never had this much pressure. They have a chance they're going to win a Scudetto here in a couple of weeks, like officially, maybe even less, to be honest with you. And then they have to turn their focus. So it's just hard, to keep it going for that much when you're almost 20 points ahead in your table. So no, and especially now I don't trust AC Milan to score enough, so that won't matter.
So you're saying 4-0 losses don't really matter? Okay,
I do. They do.
Appreciate it, man.
They do. Actually, to be honest with you, if you asked me the same thing about Barcelona, couldn't be less concerned about Barcelona. Barcelona has 3 important 3 cup finals the rest of the year. That's it. They have 3 cup finals. You get 9 points on the board, and then it's a wrap. They're done. So I'm not even worried about Barcelona.
The thing that has made it terrible is, like I said, Dembele hadn't been here through all of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like just Rafinha's showed. I was here for the Rafinha slander that I wish I could get off today. He was awful
Sure.
today.
Yeah, he was not very good. I mean, you're
One-footed.
done. Yeah. I mean, you're done with what's it called this week? I mean, yeah, I think you're actually you could even been up more because you wouldn't have probably lost Almeria if Dembele was there. And also but I will say this, the league would have been secured, but a healthy Dembele at Old Trafford, a healthy Dembele that does. Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. It's
I
gonna be
just like I said,
like what it
gonna
should
be
have
a
could have
good
season
season.
for
It's a
Barcelona.
good season, but it's just like there I saw a stat or a graphic of like our best 11, and I
Yeah.
think they played twice this year.
They took away today's result takes away from it being an excellent season for Xavi.
Yes.
Excellent. Anytime you win La Liga, though, I mean, even the Spanish folks will tell you, as you and I agree, win that always first. We'll figure out Champions League later. There's so many other teams that need to actually catch up to the level of where Barcelona and Real Madrid specifically on a European competition level. So therefore, like handle business at home first. That matters just as much, if not more, depending on who you ask. And so therefore it'll never not be a very good, not even very good. It'll never not be a great season if you win La Liga. So I'm never gonna take away and hate on that. All right, so good. Champions League's next week. We're not even worried about Europa. My boys are out. I'm good. I got eight cup finals. That's all I got. 8 cup finals. Don't know what's gonna happen with Liverpool, Arsenal. 8 cup finals, and Real Madrid has 6 more important games. 2 legs against Chelsea, hopefully 2 legs against City, 1 leg in Istanbul. You got and then you have your Copa del Rey. Everything else, it's fine. That's where we're at. Any lasting thoughts, big bro?
I mean, all I would say is we lost 4-0. And as I was watching that game today, I was like, you know who we could have used? A little 5'7" Argentinian man, the heart of a Barcelona. My boy's coming home. Happy times are coming. This is our let's get us. You got us while we could. We've inched our way back. The glory days are here. I might fly back to Spain for Leo's presentation because El Capitan, El Pula is coming home.
Presentation, where? You going to Saudi Arabia?
But don't hate. Stop getting your news from ESPN FC, man. Stop that.
I mean, I'm not on. I mean, I got the Barca Universal stuff. I keep an eye out.
You know, I'm in these streets. I know people. I'm in these streets now. You know, I got my ear to the streets, man. My boy coming back, man. Don't worry. I told you this months ago. I told you last year. I said Messi's going to come back to Barcelona.
I know,
days
but
like today make it even more obvious why we need him.
Yeah, a need, but also of like, yo, $500 million.
I just personally one of the good things about Messi is I don't think he's really concerned. Like I'm not gonna say he's not concerned about money, but like I don't think he wants to go. Like I think that league is terrible. We need to just keep it a bean. I think like flat out like just because Cristiano made it, like, that league is awful. It's a waste of his. It's not even like it's just not. It's not a good look. If he wanted to go out there in 2 years, sure. But like it's like I'm not gonna say like, I'm not gonna be fully disrespectful, but like those dudes are below him. Like he could score if he really wanted to 6 goals a game against them. Like those guys can do anything with him, but kick him.
I'm not here to hate on that. I can't. I can't.
Like I don't like I hate seeing Cristiano playing with them dudes. I'm like, dude, like I've seen some of the goals he scored, and it's just like
Right. It's not the best quality, but it keeps him out there.
Yeah, but like just go play nonetheless, bro. I'd rather I don't the fact that I gotta try to go find your goals.
Right. When you usually could bring him up on the Apple TV subscription too via MLS. All right, brother. It's gonna be fun. Champions League is gonna be great. I think some quality. You know, it'll be honestly a lot less headache free for me now. That don't even mean to sound cocky, but I just know what Anytime you win El Clasico, I just know what it turns into momentum. It does. It always does. Doesn't matter who wins. It just whoever the victor out of that, you just know that you're going to see them on a good bounce, a good run of form for at least a month. That's all the Real Madrid needs is a good month. Next time we talk, you'll be 2 weeks away from the 6-week trip.
Something like that. Yeah. Good.
Man, it's getting close. We're gonna have to get X. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a preview of the trip. We're gonna have to bring it. That'll be fantastic. That'll be well.
X is currently twerking in Nebraska.
Yeah. We need to get him at Omaha State. If he's eating red meat right now, I don't know. He may just be on the beans and rice. No racism there involved. Just no brothers trying to cut his weight, get his protein in.
No, not that sugar he was drinking. I haven't seen on his story.
Dog.
I'm like, bro, I'm the calories.
These Spanish bros love them some tequila sunrise. They swear up and down. I'm like, I don't want anything orange juice unless it's a drop, almost like a drop that you get from like the syringe in your mimosa. Okay, that's number one. And then number two, for me, I'm a no pulp vitamin D calcium, bro, in my orange juice. I don't need. They talk about the mix and all that. That's some sugary stuff. The mules I'm cool with, but then I saw some like, what do you have? Some elderberry? What do you have? Something.
Yeah, some shit. The purple one. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
That I would say Spanish once later.
That's why I just get my shot and keep it moving.
Hey, there you go. Does the job. 20 minutes, let it come in, let it hit, pause. It'll come in at one point. But X loves himself some tequila sunrise. But he's gonna have to get a pint though. When you gotta make sure
we turn it up, man. We turn it up.
Yeah, because we handling our business for sure. All right, baby. Salute. Appreciate it. We had a little old school session just with me and your boy Charles. Actually, I do have one lasting thought. I kind of like the portal for college basketball because now people could be able to see him like, retain and recruit. It's about retention too. Make sure people feeling good. Make sure you got the Ray Allen scenes for folks while they're still in school, but you don't take advantage of those things. Treat bros like kings all the way through. And I will say this is why it's so interesting to me, which is that we can go on a big topic of this, but you weren't seeing that as much with our boys because there was a culture that was built at Dayton. I will give BG that. You can't control Trent, but the other bros like stay true like yourself. You easily could have moved to UT. Business decision.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. Like I like my experience. I can't speak for everybody else, but I mean, definitely if I could have jumped in the portal, I probably might have. I ain't gonna
business decision. I would have told you to. Yeah. Hey, let's see what we can get. Let's see what I can transfer to. All right. Y'all be easy. Take care. Thanks for joining another episode of KITWB. Let's go.